I can't get over how dark this is. It's not even 5 p.m. yet, and it already feels like midnight. Perfect for a scary story. Would you agree? Well, let's see if I can scare you. The first time I ever moved out on my own, I was all of about 21 years old, fresh out of college, and just starting to figure out who I was and what I wanted to do with my life. I had just accepted a job at an animal hospital in a new city, and I needed somewhere to live until I could find a roommate or something more permanent. My mom agreed to help me find a place, and she found the perfect spot. It was a 4-bedroom house for rent, and it was only $800 per month. She dropped me off, helped me move in, and then left to go back home. It was definitely an older house, but it was beautiful, and it felt like home right away. It had hardwood floors everywhere except the kitchen and bathrooms, which were tiled. The living room had a stone fireplace, and the dining room had these really cool wainscoting boards painted a deep red. All the bedrooms were fairly large, and the master bedroom even had a walk-in closet. It also had a big backyard and a 2-car garage. It was perfect. When my mom left, I started unpacking, making the place feel like mine. I put up some posters on the walls, hung up some photos, and made my bed. Then I went into the backyard to take out the trash and explore a little. That's when I noticed that there was a trail of pebbles leading from the sidewalk to the porch. I thought it was strange, but I figured that maybe one of the other renters must have put them there for decoration or something. I finished unpacking and got ready to make myself dinner. As I was getting stuff out of the pantry, I heard a loud bang from upstairs. I stopped, looked around, and tried to listen, but couldn't hear anything else. Maybe the house had just settled since it was a really old house, I figured. But it still gave me the willies. I finished cooking and went to watch TV. As the evening wore on, I heard more bangs, footsteps, and what sounded like screams in the vents. I tried not to think about it too much and went to bed. Now, even though I am a huge chicken, like I will jump at my own shadow kind of scaredy cat, I don't really believe in ghosts or any of that stuff. And even though I was alone in the house, I wasn't really worried. Still, I kept the bedroom light on and watched TV until I got sleepy. When I finally did go to sleep, it was with the TV on and the door open a crack. In the middle of the night, I woke up to the sound of screams echoing through the empty hallway. I sat up in bed, heart pounding, and listened. There it was again, a blood-curdling scream followed by heavy footsteps near my bedroom. I don't remember exactly what happened next. I honestly have blocked most of it out. But I think I screamed and threw the covers off before running to the bathroom and locking the door. I stood there under the sink for what felt like hours, hugging my knees to my chest and shaking. Then slowly, the sounds outside the door began to fade away. I waited a few minutes, and then cautiously, I opened the door and walked out into the hallway. Everything was silent. The house was completely dark because the power had gone out sometime during the night. I crept down the stairs and into the living room, where I found my phone and turned on the flashlight feature. I shone the light around the room, examining everything. Everything seemed normal. I walked into the dining room and flicked on the switch to turn on the overhead light, and that's when I saw it. A rocking chair was moving by itself. It was one of the nicest antique chairs we had in the house, and it was sitting right in the middle of the room. It was slightly tilted forward, and it was rocking slowly back and forth. I stood there, frozen in place, watching it rock. It took me a moment to react, and when I did, I ran. I ran as fast as I could out of that house and into the safety of my car. I didn't stop running until I reached my mom's house. I burst through the door, breathless and sobbing, and told her what I had seen. She looked at me for a moment, trying to figure out what to say. "You know, honey," she finally said, "that house has been empty for years. Nobody rents it." I stared at her, dumbfounded. "What do you mean?" I whispered. "Nobody rents it. Why are you there?" "But I paid the deposit and everything. I even signed a lease. How can it be empty if I'm living there?" She cupped my face in her hands and looked into my eyes. "Sweetheart, you're not living there. You never were. You never signed a lease, and nobody's been renting that house for years." At that moment, I knew that I was not crazy. What I had seen in that house was real. But how could a house be empty and occupied at the same time? Had I been hallucinating? Was I going crazy? Or was there something else going on? To this day, I don't know the answer. My mom drove me back to the house to get my things, but I didn't want to go inside. Just stood by the car and she went into the house to grab my stuff. Well, she was gone. I looked around the yard for the trail of pebbles, but it was gone. I couldn't have imagined it because I had never seen anything like it before, and I've never seen it since. My mom came out of the house with my suitcase, and we left. I never went back to that house, but sometimes I wonder what it's like now. Did someone else rent it after that and experience the same thing that I did? Or is it still empty? One evening, while I was getting ready for bed, I was struck by a strange idea. I decided to look online to see if the house was for rent now, and when I found the listing, I couldn't believe what I saw. The pictures were exactly the same ones that my mom and I had taken when we toured the house. The description was identical to the one from years ago. It said that the house had been vacant for many years, and that it was only being rented, because the owner had recently passed away. If the owner had passed away, then who was I talking to when I signed the lease? And why had I not seen the owner or any other renters during the week that I had lived there? I also noticed something else very strange. Pictures of the house showed a different front yard. In one of the pictures, there was a trail of pebbles leading from the sidewalk to the porch. It was the exact same trail that I had seen when I moved in. I was so freaked out that I almost dropped my phone. Was I losing my mind? If not, then who was living in that house? Who was I talking to when I called to set up the tour? Who was I paying rent to, and what happened to them? I haven't been able to bring myself to look at the listing again. Maybe it was all just a bad dream. Maybe I hallucinated the whole thing. Or maybe there's something sinister going on. Have you ever had an experience like this? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And please share this story with anyone you think might enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching.